All right, remember the Alex Murdaugh trial? That was a South Carolina lawyer who was convicted of murdering his wife and one of his sons in 2021. Well, listen, the South Carolina Supreme Court just unanimously overturned those murder convictions. And it wasn't about guilt, wasn't about innocence. It was because the Supreme Court there said that he didn't have what's known as an impartial jury. Now, why is that? Or should I say, who did that? Well, the court says it was the court clerk who worked for the trial, and her name is Becky Hill, and she was in charge of logistics and other things related to the jurors, and she actually even read the guilty verdicts. Well, the court said she placed her fingers on the scales of justice by telling jurors, watch his body language and don't be fooled by Murdaugh's testimony. Well, now she no longer works there, and she resigned from her job. And then in December, get this, she was actually sentenced to probation after pleading guilty to misusing public funds and using her good government job, as I like to say, for personal gain. Did I mention she wrote a book about the trial and was promoting the book about the trial? And you can't make this up. Now, the court took issue with another thing. They say that the trial judge in this case allowed way too much evidence to come in about Murdaugh's financial crimes. Now, the prosecutor said that was important because it was all related to motive. But the Supreme Court thinks that it could have potentially clouded the jurors' minds in the murder evaluation. So this means that the double murder conviction is gone, but it will be retried. And don't expect him to walk free today. He is still going to serve decades for those massive financial fraud and embezzlement claims and crimes he actually confessed to. And like I mentioned, the retrial, the prosecutor said that is definitely happening. So the big question, what happens in the Murdaugh trial 2.0? Well, the prosecution has a little bit of a harder road now. They've lost their element of surprise. The defense had a 6 weeks long preview of all the evidence, all the trial testimony, all the objections. They have a roadmap to exclude whatever they had to exclude before. You got trial transcripts available to compare to the future testimony of maybe those same witnesses and fading memories. And Murdaugh still maintains that he is innocent. And the prosecution, they still got to meet their burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. Can they do it again?
Shout out to our Black sisters and reporters. I mean, that was Mrs. Coates, her timeless fine ass. Black don't crack, ladies and gentlemen. That video was played because this whole entire channel is about the inequities of white America and the narratives and stereotypes that were placed upon us by the colonists to keep us divided. And this is an example of the hypocrisy. Now, even though Murdaugh is going to stay in jail, he's going to have the convictions most likely of murder thrown out. All over some bull jive. When I continue, we still have brothers in jail right now for a dime bag of weed, and they can't get their shit thrown out. Do you know how many people probably put their hands on the scale of justice in those cases? Not in the good way, in the bad way. This video today talks about bigger crimes committed by the people who are supposed to enforce our laws, the Supreme Court. This video is about brave people who go in front of Supreme Courts and talk about why they're wrong. We've got D.L. Hughley going on about this Kevin Hart roast and some of the nasty things said about George Floyd. I respect D.L. Hughley's opinion because, folks, there has never been a better roaster in the history of comedy than D.L. Hughley, and you should listen to what that man has to say. Trump is attacking our Black sisters again. Anybody that knows me and knows this channel knows I ride for my Black sisters. I was raised by a strong Black woman. I love strong Black educated women. He's attacking them again. And we also have a North Carolina senator who ass should have been gone, Virginia Foxx. Wait till you see her response to a kid writing a letter about the things he said, 10-year-old kid writing a letter about the things he's seen in America. And we'll end on my boy Godfrey. Funny as hell, but he done caught wind of Chud, the non-builder, Chud the bee. And we'll go through it all in this video. You're in the building, all knowing, all loving, all feeling, all seeing, all powerful, all woke, all equitable. Just damn all everything. Sexy as hell hosts me. And the only person that need to think I'm sexy is myself and a handful of hot women out there. Thank you for coming to the Politics of Being Black. How do we do my show? We pick some predetermined topics going on in the world of politics, how it affects minorities, but more importantly, how it has been shaped by the societal norms that was put in place by the colonizers. I take questions at the end if you super chat, and we go through them. So let's get into story number one. Marjorie Taylor Greene, ladies and gentlemen, is saying things that gets on my nerves. Now, I am someone who has said that I think Marjorie Taylor Greene would be a fun person to have beer with, even though I am totally against pretty much everything she stands for. Here recently, she's been talking like she has a little bit more sense because I think she wants to make a run for the presidency. Well, she came on a podcast and said something that has always gotten on my nerves, that I think is another one of these tropes pushed down on us by the colonizers and the white guys to get us to behave in a way that doesn't threaten them. Marjorie Taylor Greene has come out and said she's going to be, or she's leaning toward becoming an independent. Anybody who says that to me, I roll my eyes because I think it's total BS. Take a look at what she said and then we'll talk about it.
Do you still consider yourself a Republican?
I would not. I don't really know if I do consider myself one right now. I would say I'm definitely leaning more calling myself an independent.
Have you gone so far as to change your registration?
I haven't, not yet. I haven't changed it yet, but I will probably think pretty deeply about doing that. And I think it's important because I think that's where many Americans are leaning. They're finding themselves. They're saying, if they're a Democrat, they're saying, well, the Democrat Party has failed me. If they're a Republican, they're saying, well, the Republican Party has failed me. Mm-hmm. And, I had tweeted at Ro Khanna this morning. He's mentioned, and others have mentioned, pulling together a coalition from the left and the right and trying to find a new center, because the current center has got us where we are. I mean, that's the reality. The current center with Republicans and Democrats, the way they have been coming together for decades now, is what we have. And so I am very interested in like going to a whiteboard and going, okay, let's come together and what does this even look like? And how can we reimagine a new coalition going forward? And I think that's what the younger generations want.
The fuck? There were so many things wrong about what she said. Number one, folks, let's just get this independent centralist shit out the way. Most people that I met who try to come off as if they're independent are just trying to sound smart. They're trying to blend in with both parties so that nobody challenges what they're thinking. They want to act like they're so evolved, they're so above the fray, they're independent. Here's the problem with that shit. At the end of the day, being an independent, you give up your authority and your ability to vote on the primary, which is dumb. You need to be taking place in who your party is going to put as the person that represents you. Number two, when the time comes to vote, if you don't vote third party, you're voting Democrat or Republican. So stop this shit, okay? Stop it. Just stop it. Stop trying to pretend like you're in the middle, especially right now. If you are not voting Democrat, you are actively saying you're voting for fascism. You're actively saying you're voting against the Constitution. You're actively saying you're voting for the rich people to have all the power. You're actively saying you're voting for stupid ass wars. You're actively saying you're voting that people don't have healthcare. You're actively voting saying that you don't give a damn about kids and education. You're actively voting saying that you want MAGA, white nationalist Christians running shit. That's what that means. So stop it. Pick a side and stop trying to do this I'm above the fray shit. Gets on my nerve. And it has always gotten on my nerves. And I've never understood why people try to act like it's okay, because it's not. You, at the end of the day, can call yourself whatever you want to. But when you get in that voting booth, you're picking one or the other one. And then Marjorie, I'll say this about her. starting to lean more left is making her actually look like a better human being, Marjorie. Just stop the bull job, Marjorie, and just come on out and go full left. Because something she said that got on my nerves was, well, both parties have been trying to play in the center and it's just gotten worse. Look what we've got. She forgot to tell you why people tried to do exactly what I just said. Stop trying to say you're so center and shit. But the American electorate has pulled the people so far to the right, we don't know how to see the left. She forgot to tell y'all about that, didn't she? She forgot that shit. Because while I agree, politics has always been corrupt, there's corruption for sure on both sides. One side has shown you year after year who's more corrupt, and it is by far the Republican Party. From Nixon, Bush going into wars we don't need to be in, to Trump and his just outright corruption, because his voting base is so dumb, they have no ability to critically think and look into anything because they are afraid that they will find out that their heroes is completely against everything that colonists put in place that society is supposed to adhere to. As simple as that, ladies and gentlemen. There is none of this, I'm an independent, I'm in the middle. Just stop it. Stop it. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, you know good and damn well that this country has pretended to be center, but just got pulled so far to the right, we cannot see left. We need to course correct before this thing is done. So post your comments and let me know. Folks, don't take Marjorie Taylor Greene too serious. Until she comes out and says she's voting with Democrats, don't take her seriously. And she's not doing that because she is planning to make a run as a Republican for president. Let me know what you guys think. I want to hear from you. I want to see what you got to say. Next thing we're going to cover, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, we could make a full mixtape on MAGA men, white men, and Trump, and their just visceral hate for educated Black women. And I'll tell you a couple of reasons why they hate them. Number one, everybody has the data on the most educated people in any nation tend to vote progressive. The most educated block of Americans is Black women. How did they vote? 92% voted for Kamala Harris. And white men know this, and they're afraid of it, and they hate it. And so Trump comes out and he attacks another one of our sisters. And on this channel, we're never going to let that fly. So let's hear what he had to say.
President Trump just called Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson a, quote, low IQ person. As a longtime White House reporter, I can say it's not an unusual insult for him. But there's also a pattern to when he uses it. While he's used that insult against a range of political adversaries, he's primarily used it to attack Black and brown people, usually women of color. It dates back to his first term, like here, talking about a high-ranking Black Democratic lawmaker.
Maxine Waters is leading the charge. Maxine, she's a real beauty. Maxine, a seriously low IQ person.
And here, about Congresswomen Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Jasmine Crockett.
AOC, look, I think she's very nice, but she's very low IQ. And we really don't need low IQ. Between her and Crockett, we're going to give them both an IQ test to see who comes out best.
Or earlier this year, when he posted that Democratic House members Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib were, quote, low IQ for protesting him at the State of the Union. He's also deployed it against the highest-ranking Black lawmaker in the House, Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries.
I watch this low IQ guy, Hakeem Jeffries. He's a totally low IQ person.
Or here, when he's used it repeatedly to describe former Vice President Kamala Harris.
She's a low IQ individual.
She's a low IQ person.
The pattern is clear. Trump has a track record of using racist dog whistles and insulting the intelligence of Black and brown lawmakers, especially women.
Bruh, for real, who's writing his jokes? Like, who the hell is writing this man's jokes? He says the same stuff over and over again. And dumbasses laugh at it. Low IQ, they're laughing. The very people who have low IQs have the audacity to laugh at people who are educated, who have had to overcome twice what a white man would have to overcome, who voted for hate over putting food on their plate, and you have the audacity to laugh at Ketanji Brown, Kamala Harris for being low IQ. Dude, get a life. Get better writers. The very fact that people voted for you in office says that America has a low IQ problem, and it's definitely not the black women. It is the people that voted for your dumb ass. How about we start doing a haircut test? Because I hear those strands of hair on your head ain't real, Donald Trump. I hear if we catch you in the right wind tunnel, your ass will be bald headed like you just had chemotherapy. I also heard that you wear a diaper. So that means your butthole is low IQ, meaning that the Q that's supposed to be a hole is not working properly. And you go around dropping out stuff all the time. Let's just get one thing straight here. If these women were running the nation, inflation wouldn't be where it's at. If these women were running the nation, we would not be in a war. Kamala Harris even said to combat inflation, people who were first-time home buyers was going to get some help. But no, every rich crook, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and a whole lot of others who know Donald Trump is the real definition of low IQ, decided to vote for him, not because they thought he was the best candidate, but because they know that the high IQ women that he hates and they hate would hold their asses accountable and probably send their asses to jail. Elon Musk even said so. And so for those of you that write Trump's jokes, come up with something better. We're tired of hearing low IQ when all you're doing is putting the mirror up in front of him and letting him exude what he's thinking about himself upon the smartest of us, which is black and brown women. Post your comments, y'all. Let me know what you think. What is Trump's real IQ? I don't know what the lowest is on the IQ test, but I can believe it's below 0. Next story we got, folks, in the face of what's been going on with the Supreme Court gutting voting rights, which is why Trump was attacking Ketanji Brown, because she came out with a scathing remark that was right on the button about what's going on. We've had different hearings at different states because all these southern states that have the lowest IQs, and it's not because of the black people, it's because of the people running it that look like Trump, have been having hearings, have been having state constitutional issues, trying to just gut these maps. A young man came to the podium, and folks, when I tell you he dropped facts about what the Southern is doing with the Confederacy, take a listen to this brother, and I want you to give him a follow. We'll follow up in just a second.
Murray, Mr. Marshawn, I'm having trouble understanding the writing of your last name. If you could state your name for the record, I'd appreciate it.
All right. See, did I turn that off? Okay, here I go. I'm back on. I'm Marshawn Kamis. I appreciate the other people that I have up here because I had something that I remembered to say, but that was about 7 hours ago. But just to kind of get to it, I'll try to get through as much as I can. The state of Louisiana in 2025 deported multiple children, one of whom was born in New Orleans and had brain cancer. Donald Trump got the pro-life, Bible-thumping Republican Party to say, yes, we want more of that. As a matter of fact, send Gregory Bovino down here to harass more people. So I have no doubt in my mind that the map's going to pass. If y'all can give us less than 0 seats, you would do it. Y'all do this under the orders of somebody that said the Civil Rights Act was harmful to white people, that it caused reverse racism. RFK said that black children are overfilled on antidepressants and that they need to be reparented on different farms, all of them. Pete Hegseth constantly brings Doug Wilson to the Pentagon to give a prayer service. Doug Wilson is the same pastor that said that slave owners were on strong spiritual ground. I don't have no belief in no morality on anybody that followed Donald Trump. If you wasn't with this map, you wouldn't be underneath this president. You wouldn't be in your party. You would stand up. You would stand against it. You would speak out about it. So as far as I'm concerned, if you here as one of these Trump Republicans, you already showed us who you are. You showed us what you want to do. And I believe the country as a whole is rebuking your party. Y'all are in a death spiral. That's why y'all have to redistrict. That's why y'all have to cheat. That's why Trump got to go to Texas and say he entitled to 5 more seats. It's because y'all know what y'all doing is abhorrent. We letting our people die in Iran based on false pretense that Tulsi Gabbard and Joe Kent say it ain't real. Y'all okay with all that. So I'm positive y'all gonna be okay with the maps. But the beautiful thing is, the children that y'all have made and the people that's younger than y'all don't support none of this racism that y'all want. The MAGA party is the last breath of the Confederacy. And I'll be happy to see millennials and Gen Z bury y'all. There will be no more of your party. The midterms gonna come, y'all gonna get wiped out. Trump gonna get dragged out of the White House, and I'ma love every second of it. Because y'all loved every second of the suffering that he caused to everybody in this country. And worldwide, we starve in Cuba. We bomb Nigeria. We holding Zimbabwe and Zambia hostage for their minerals. We don't want to give them aid support. The pro-lifers that say all life is special, y'all letting kids die of AIDS. What part of your Bible say that? Point out the scripture. I think everybody would love to see it. And we would love to see y'all in the midterms.
Thank you for your testimony, sir. The board is clear. All right, up next we'll have Dr.
Wow. We need to find him. That young brother needs to run for office. That young brother could galvanize a whole lot of people because he said that verbatim off the top, and every single thing he said, unlike folks that follow Fox News, you can Google search everything that man said and he's spot on. We know Fox News folks ain't going to Google shit. They're just going to sit here and say he's lying because of the lies they've heard on Fox News. That man was spot on. You can tell he's a realist. He got in front of them white folks. He kept it real like he said, but he hit them with some big words, and I know that he understands what those words meant by the way he used them in a sentence. We need to get that. We need more people like that who's willing to fight. And he's right. This MAGA is the breath of the Confederacy. Y'all remember the South said, "We shall rise." That's what they're trying to do. And at the end of the day, Democrats cannot have stomach for nice politics. You remember, I hate to pick on Michelle Obama, but you remember Michelle Obama said, "They go low, we go high. We ain't got no more time for that." When they go low, we need to go to hell. When they set the house on fire, we need to have a water hose with water that's coming out of it. Because at this point, ladies and gentlemen, the house is on fire. The roof is gone. And we've got to save the rest of this house. And Trump has already said in the midterms, he's sending armed officers and folks to the midterm polls. And we need people in blue states, the governors, you need to be sending your National Guard to protect folks so that they don't feel like they're intimidated. Because at the end of the day, as much as the colonizers tried to institute things to keep society at bay and hide their misgivings, over the course of time, the education has gotten out to a degree, maybe not from school, but through parents, now through social media, George Floyd's movement. People have started to understand a lot of what has happened that has been hidden. And you do have more of the younger generation being buddies with people of all races and understanding their plight and voting against seeing their friend get hurt. However, the power structure that is in place, the electoral college, Democrats, you got to get rid of that shit. The Supreme Court as is, you've got to expand that court, pack it with Dems, and lock the shit down so nobody else can come behind you and do it. Because if you don't start, I don't want to say cheating, but I am going to say start ramrodding stuff above what flyover country likes, even though to you it might seem like you're invading on them. Your policies, Democrats, are for the good of everybody. How is it invading on someone to help them get health care? How is it invading on someone to see that their children can go to early child care and the government pay for it? That's not, if they don't want the shit, they can say no. Free choice. You ain't got to take it, but that would be your dumb ass not taking it. I ain't seen Elon Musk, Kevin O'Leary, Jeff Bezos. I ain't never seen them turn down a government check yet. But if these flyover MFers want to be so prideful that they don't want to take no help from the government because their rich masters have told them that they're socialists while they are taking advantage of socialism, then let it be on them. Democrats ramrod your policies like Mamdani has done, period. Post your comments. Let me know what y'all think about that brother. I think he needs to run. Now we've got one that happened right here in my state, ladies and gentlemen. Right here in my state. Virginia Foxx replies to a letter sent to her by a 10-year-old, basically about the things going on in the world, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look at what she had to say. We should have been got rid of this hoe.
2038 is only 12 years away, and you and your classmates will be responsible for the debt.
A message from Republican North Carolina Congresswoman Virginia Foxx that was sent to 10-year-old Christian Mango. Christian says certain words she said.
I could understand like half of it, not all of it.
His mother, Emily Mango, says the reply from Foxx was in regards to an assignment from Christian's teacher at Canterbury School in Greensboro.
Christian and his class, they're in fourth grade, they wrote a persuasive essay of their choosing, and they mailed it off to a representative, a CEO, whoever the decision maker was that could be influential in hearing their persuasive essay points.
Christian says the topic he chose.
We should have a $5,000 tax rebate for electric cars because they're better than normal cars. They're better for the environment, you pay less, and there's no gas.
Christian says in April he mailed the essay to Foxx in a Canterbury school envelope with fourth grade on the return address. A few weeks later, the school received this letter from Representative Foxx via email. While the congresswoman thanked the 10-year-old for contacting her, she disagreed with his proposal. Foxx cited 6 articles from news organizations such as Fox News and Wall Street Journal. But towards the end of her response, she attacked Christian's teacher.
Ask your teacher to explain propaganda to you, but I will never be able to know. My guess is that your teacher will not be able to give you a good educational experience by helping you to be able to think as they are too interested in indoctrinating you. How sad.
After Christian's mother explained to him what Fox's response meant, the 10-year-old says he's upset Foxx went after his teacher when Christian was the one who chose the topic of his essay.
I think that was wrong.
And why?
Because the school didn't do anything.
Emily Mango slammed Fox's response on social media and is now demanding an apology.
Boy, you can't make this stuff up. Folks, this is the mindset that colonists put in place to entitle white people. And Virginia Foxx, you ought to be ashamed of yourself to pick on this man's teacher as if she influenced his pick. He's 10 years old. He wrote that paper most likely with his parents' help. So if you was going to pick on somebody, pick on the parents. But even if you was going to pick on someone or a subject in what he said, you have the audacity to say that they're pushing propaganda when you cited an article from Fox News. Come again, Virginia, which I wish your ass would move there and stay. Come again. You cited this man's teacher for propaganda when you put an article in there from Fox News. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. That's the propaganda channel. That man articulated that he would like to see rebates given to people to get electric cars. Now, if you wanted to have a good discussion with him, you should have engaged him on how there are real deal scientific evidence that say EVs slightly beat gasoline cars because of how you have to handle the making and the destruction of the batteries, but they're getting better. You could have went scientific on him, but your dumb ass couldn't do that. Your non-wanting people to be educated ass couldn't do that. Democrats, you see why I say we have to step up the game in education in schools, because you have this old hag telling this boy that everything he said was propaganda pushed by his teacher when nothing was propaganda. Nothing. And I'm sure that teacher feels hamstrung now on approaching any other subject she wants to deal with that deals with policy. And folks, let's just keep this thing 100. Every single thing that we deal with in life every day, from the time we get out of our bed to the time we brush our teeth, is wrapped in politics. It don't matter what people tell you. It don't matter how people try to say, oh, I just don't like to talk about politics. Fuck them. That's their dumbasses' problems. Everything is politics. And for her to attack a 10-year-old, it is just ridiculous. I hope this causes her to lose her job. I hope this video that I'm making about her gets 1 million views so that people can write letters to her to shame her old hag ass, because that's just abhorrent. It used to be a societal colonist narrative that we don't attack children, that we don't deal with old people, but not under MAGA. Under MAGA, no holds barred. White is might. Everything else must flight. Shout out to the teacher for standing up. Shout out to the parents for standing up. But demand more than what's an apology? Even though she probably ain't going to do that, we need more. Demand that her ass loses her job. Post your comments. Let me know what you think. And shout out to that young man. Young man, stay on your grind, getting education. Stay critically thinking. Stay being the type of young man that questions things and has a concern for everybody on planet Earth. The fact that he even thinks we should be using EV cars says that he cares about renewable energy. He cares about everybody on Earth and not just the top 1%. So shout out to that 10-year-old. Next thing we're going to cover today, ladies and gentlemen, is my boy DL Hughley. Y'all know I love DL because he be on it. Well, he's stepping into the conversation about what's going on from the Kevin Hart roast, some of the things that were said about George Floyd. And folks, there is no better expert on roasting people than DL. I have a little bit of jokes myself, but there are about 4 people I would never want to get into a roasting contest with. And DL is number 1 on that list. If I had to pick someone to roast folks on my behalf against anybody on earth, it's definitely DL, because he's going to send your ass down in flames. Listen to what he had to say about what happened in that roast of Kevin Hart.
All right, so a lot has been made about the Kevin Hart roast on Netflix, particularly a joke that Tony Hinchcliffe told about George Floyd. I find it ironic that a comedian who appeared at a Nazi rally for Trump a couple of years ago and told a very incendiary joke would end up with the nigga that was in Jumanji. I just don't think those audiences match. But this is comedy. You can do whatever. The spirit of a roast, I remember years ago when it was the Dean Martin roast, you got the sense that those people liked each other. Those people had an affinity for each other. That it was kind of tongue-in-cheek. I don't get that sense at all. You are entitled to tell a joke, but it cannot be just jokes when the very audiences that support that kind of comedy got upset when someone said anything about Charlie Kirk. As I recall it, there were calls made to try to get people fired for just saying anything about Charlie Kirk. It cannot be just jokes when the current president of the United States of America is trying to get a comedian fired for telling a joke he didn't like and using the power of the FCC to do it. It can't be just jokes when the aforementioned man got so offended that, again, he's trying to get people fired, but he depicted Obama and his wife as apes. So jokes are fine, and I will defend the right to say whatever you want. But it is not a one-sided thing. And decidedly, there are people we've seen 3 times when this president, and who I would say the same people that like Trump, like these comedians. Same people. Now, how is it that you call it, when you do it, it's called comedy. When they do it, a joke that you don't like about somebody you don't like is something entirely different. I don't understand how those audiences meshed. I think I respect the right for anybody to say whatever it is they want to say. This is comedy. And, but it cannot be a one-sided street. It cannot be a one-sided affair. And let's be clear. when anybody, any white guy wants the freedom of speech, when they are yelling for freedom of speech, when they're clamoring for freedom of speech, they really want the freedom to be able to say nigga. All right, that's a little note from the GED section. Got the Jazz Report coming up in 15 minutes. It's the D.L. Hughley Show.
He's right. He's right, ladies and gentlemen. Whenever white dudes want to say freedom of speech, it's always because they want to use the word nigga. And I never see black people capping up to run around and use the word cracker. Like, that's not something that we don't run up on white dudes and call them cracker. We just don't do that unless they've offended us first. We're not running around here like Chud, the fake ass builder, who we'll get to him next and things going on with him. He thought he was tough. And I did a video yesterday where I said, he ain't tough. He's just like most white dudes like him. Whenever the odds are in their favor, they're tough. But if you take 6 white dudes and they encounter 2 black dudes, they run. But if they encounter 6 white dudes, encounter 1 black dude, they'll stay and fight. And so I'll concede with DL because he's a top roaster. You can say what you want, but at the same time, you have to face the consequences. And sometimes those consequences ain't good. Oftentimes they're not good. Say whatever the hell you want to say. But if you walk out that stage and get punched in the damn face, hey, you told your joke. You got your consequences. You said what you wanted to say. But you need to be tasteful about it, is what I'm saying. Say what you want to say. But no, doing what you want to do, saying what you want to say, oftentimes comes with consequences you may not want. Post your comments, let me know what you think. Speaking of people and consequences, ladies and gentlemen, this shit right here is going to be funny. Chud, the non-builder, the guy that has been in the news the last couple of weeks, he runs up on black people in Tennessee, a stand your ground state, with a gun, tries to antagonize them, call us apes, call us monkeys, call us Bubbles the baboon, all kinds of stupid stuff. But he never goes to blue cities and do this. Like I said yesterday, you've never seen him take his ass to Crenshaw, to a hood in LA, to a hood in New York, Rutgers, the parks. You've never seen him do that because he's not that tough. Well, my boy comedian Godfrey got a video of him. Somebody ran up on him who was tough. His bitch ass called the police. Take a look.
Meanwhile, back at racism headquarters. So, Chud the Builder. I think you guys know who Chud the Builder is. He is a white man with this mustache that he looks like he got trying to imitate the cowboy from the Village People. And he goes around with his little stick, you know, his little selfie stick, bullying black people.
You see these dumb painted on a wall. Every time you see dirty, you see dirty trash.
Calling them, saying, you saying, why are you chimping? Don't chimp out, all right? Don't chimp out.
Don't chimp out. Look at him chimping out.
It's a verb now, because they always have to use monkey references to black people, even though white people are more related to monkeys than we are. It's been scientifically proven, and I will always say that. And so he only says it, I noticed the pattern, he only says it to people he thinks he can beat up. You understand? He's not going to go hand to hand because he has a gun and he has mace, all right? So I noticed that. Usually racist white men always f with people they think in their head, I think I could physically take this person. When they meet their match, that's when they punk the f out. Because at this gas station, I think this is in Nashville, Tennessee, that's where he is. Hint, hint. This brother finds him and says, oh, there he go. There he is. Yeah, there's Chad the f***ing builder. But guess what? I know he got a gun, but I got one too. I got my shit too. Let's go. I'm ready. Let's do this. And all of a sudden, Chud the builder turns into Chud the boy and gets on the phone calling the police. This motherfucker has been torturing black people and bullying black people, and now he wants to call the police when he meets his match. Ain't no fun when the rabbit gets the gun, huh, boy? Little. Oh, man, kudos to this brother for finding him out. And a lot of brothers are finding him out. And I think it's wonderful. Hey, you like my t-shirt? Go to godfreylive.com. Get that. This shit hot. Yeah. Hey, man, keep it up, bro. Keep it up. And Chad the Builder, yeah, we about to deconstruct your...
He's a black guy. caught him reporting somebody in person.
I got him on tape. Hold on. He's wearing great things.
What he does is start, but then he'll pull a gun out on you as soon as you do something.
You got me.
But I'm licensed to carry too. We both licensed to carry. I finally ran into him. He got his, I got mine. But he on the phone with the police. He just obviously started with somebody.
See what I'm saying? I told y'all yesterday, and I didn't even know this video existed. Chud, the pussy ready whip, aisle number 7, Piggly Wiggly grocery store, is a puss ball. Whenever these type of white dudes are confronted with something that's their match or more, they cower. The nature of these type of dudes is I have to have an advantage. It's called white privilege. They always claim they don't know about it. They always claim that it don't exist. But if they don't get that cudgel of confidence or white privilege, they cower. And this dude cowers. He accidentally shot himself too, folks. So if you want to go check that video out and see where he done that, you can look it up. I don't have it right now. But let me know what you think about this dude, Chud the Builder. Chud the Deconstructor. He's going to wind up and get his ass deconstructed himself. He keep on playing around. Last video we got for you is a funny one from Godfrey, because I tried to end these videos on a funny note. So there's Godfrey found some video where they're doing some ceremony in the Dusty Rivers. And folks, y'all tell me, do this look like somebody is tagging the panty drawers? You let me know what you think. Take a look.
I just want to know this video right here. I just want to know, what is this, a spa or something? I just need to know a few things, like what part of Africa is that, and what river is that? Because the water don't look that clean, so I don't know if it's from all that booty juice or whatever, but that looked real fun. And I want to know where that is. If you have the information on that, if you have the information on the women there, and I just need all that. I just need all of that. That looked very interesting. I've never seen that, where my man, he puts his face right in the water. I don't know if that's a meditational thing. I don't know if it's a spiritual thing. I don't know what African tribe it is. It's definitely not Nigerian. So I just need to know who and what that was. So I'm asking for a friend.
Oh, ladies, I guess I'm too Americanized, man. Because no matter how nice her butt looks, that water was too dirty for me, and I can't swim. And that water looks like the water that's in the bottom of Oscar the Grouch's trash can. So I don't care how fine she was, I wouldn't have had stuck my face in her booty like that. I was never one of those young men that said she's so fine I'm gonna drink her bath water. So you know, I definitely ain't drinking Mississippi River water. But what was that a seance? Was that the way they baptized young men or something? The way dude had his nose in her butt crack in the water. So obviously we know by the end, because at first it looked like he tapping that ass, boy. He in them panty draw. Then I don't think no man has the ability to be tapping panty draws and then shove your face into somebody's butt crack like that in dirty water. So if anybody knows what that was, tell me so you can count me the F out. Now, if the water was clear, hey, if it was clear and I could see my feet, I mean, it'd be a little something different. And maybe I would feel a little something different too if whatever this ritual is didn't require you to stick your face in the butt crack. You know, maybe I'd be with that part, but I don't know about sticking the face in the booty, man. Y'all post your comments. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like the video, comment, subscribe, man. Check out the shorts. Share my videos as I'm growing. You all have made this journey of trying to educate people on the colonist societal norms they have put in place, being wrong and debunking them, a good one. Y'all have helped me in a time of need. A lot of things going on in my life, and the fact that the way this country is shaping up has not helped it. But from hearing from you all, reading your comments, understanding where you're at in life, and how you are out here being little defenders of democracy yourself, standing up for minorities, standing up for women, has really helped me continue to push. And I'm so thankful for you all. Please continue to come back and share my videos. And until that next Sexy as Hell video, which will be tomorrow.
Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body.